All right, quickly, we're gonna go through week 2. We're gonna say who we pick. We got the Jets and the Patriots to open up Thursday night. I'm picking the Patriots. Who you got, Joe?
I got the Patriots. Oh yeah,
we both got the Patriots. Tom Brady. I think right now the spread's 12 points. What do you got? I think they cover.
Yeah, I have them covering. I have them winning 35-17.
Can Geno Smith surprise be the first quarterback to beat Tom Brady? First rookie quarterback to beat Tom Brady in Foxborough?
Doesn't happen.
Okay. All right. St. Louis going to Atlanta. This is a very interesting game. Who do you got?
I got Atlanta. I think they'll come out, especially with it being in Atlanta. Atlanta hardly loses at home, especially to a Rams team that's, getting better, but they're not up to the offensive quality that the Falcons are at right now.
I agree. I have Atlanta winning the game. I think that the Rams are on the rise, but the only knock I have is that Atlanta has lost the last 2 games, the NFC Championship and last week, both the same way, late fourth downs. If they get in that situation, maybe they don't do it because of everything that's been going on, but I think overall it shouldn't even get to that situation. I think St. Louis plays good, plays big. Atlanta wins 10 points. San Diego going to Philly. You got?
I have Philly winning. I wasn't all that impressed with what I saw from San Diego so far in week 1, and still looks like the same old Chargers to me. So I think with the new offensive style that the Eagles are bringing, if Andy Reid was still the coach, I would say that the Chargers would win. But with the change, with everything, I think the Eagles can pull out a win this week.
Yeah, you never know with this offense because you don't know what's going on with this offense. You can't prepare for something that you've never seen before. All you've seen was 2.5 quarters of it, and you got to now go out there and try to stop it for as long as they want to run it. I don't know if it's going to happen. Chargers aren't that great of a team with athletes, this, that, and the next thing, injuries, bad way to lose for week 1. We're both going with Philly, staying with the home team on that one. We both pick home teams first 3 games. Dallas going to Kansas City. Who we got?
I actually think Kansas City can pull off an upset here. Andy Reid, playing all those years in Philadelphia, he knows the Cowboys just as well as anybody. He, if not better, he's a Cowboy killer. He'll come in there. I think the Chiefs are going to surprise a lot of people next week.
The only thing that Cowboys fans can actually really say, or even Cowboys just in general, that they have over Andy Reid was those two games back to back last week of the season and the playoff game where they won their only playoff win since '95. Other than that, really overall, Reid was a Cowboy killer. He destroyed them. I think he still probably has that passion and hate for him. At least he can find it somewhere for a second week with his new team. He destroyed them. Sometimes he embarrassed them on national TV. I'm going to say Kansas City gets the win too, sticking with the home team. Going to the next game, Miami's heading to Indy. Miami's opening up with back-to-back road games. This one they're going to Indy. Who do you got?
I got the Colts. I think Andrew Luck's just too on point right now. I think it'll be a pretty close game. I think the Colts will win by 7 or so.
I'm going with Indy, but I'm not surprised if it's a struggle for the Colts, and I'm not surprised if Miami pulls out. I'm a Tannehill fan. I think maybe this Mike Wallace thing might end up working in their favor somehow. They got a decent defense. I think they're better than Oakland. I think Indy is going to fix their mistakes and win the game, but it's definitely a game to watch for in that 1 o'clock time slot. We both picked the home team again. Titans going to Houston. Who do you got, Texans or Titans?
I got the Texans beating the Titans. I think they'll come out, show them a little more dominance like they did last year. The Titans are a little better this year than they were last year, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop the Texans week 2 here.
Joe and I were on the same page to this point. I got the Texans too. I think it's going to be a sound beating too. I don't think the Titans are that good. There's not much to say about it. If the Texans got to come out better than they did last week, though. That's for sure. But I think the Texans win. Titans coming on some confidence building win though. You get a slow start from the Texans again. Watch out, but I think we're both going to be on the same page there, going with the home team. Washington going to Green Bay. Who do you got?
I got the Packers pulling it out 42-35. I think it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game. I think because Robert Griffin's finally kind of getting some of that rust off, I think he's going to have a pretty electric game. But I think Aaron Rodgers pulls out the win after the loss to the Niners.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Packers are going to be mad. I think the Packers play really good at Lambeau, and I think that Washington defense is just not that strong. But the Packers defense sucks too, but they just played the better version of RG3 and the Washington Redskins offense, which was Kaepernick. So
Yeah.
I think that they win by a good 7 to 10 points. I think Rodgers puts up big numbers against a really bad secondary. I mean, come on, Hall. Like, what was Hall doing in the Monday night game, by the way? Trying to fight
Made no sense.
Sean Jackson.
Made no sense at all.
He got ran over all first half, and he decides that it's time to step up. And I didn't understand that. Anyways, we're both going with the home team there. Browns going to Baltimore. Who do you got? Baltimore raising the banner, showing the rings.
I got the Ravens winning. I mean, like you just said, they're raising the banner, showing, getting the rings, all that stuff. I think that'll be a pretty emotional moment for them. That and in combination with them playing the Browns, I think they'll win. They'll win pretty handily.
Ray Lewis is going to be in town for the banner being raised. I think it's just they're going to play with energy, like you said. They're playing the Browns. I mean, Joe Flacco going to try to, I guess, show why he's got $100 million in his pocket right now. Either way, Ravens win. Ravens win pretty big. Carolina going to Buffalo. We pick the home team every time. This is the first time I really think there might be a little discrepancy. I'm going with Carolina. Who you got?
I can go with Carolina too. I like what I saw from the Bills so far, but I think Cam Newton with a couple years under his belt is going to be able to pull it off against EJ Manuel. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting game to watch, though. That's one to keep an eye on.
Bills D going from playing Peyton Manning, which you just have to just do everything or not Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, which is like a hybrid, just really good pocket passer, to Cam Newton, who is probably the most mature version of the read option quarterback. Not like completely read option, but I just think that they're a fast offense. They're not as fast as the Patriots, maybe like running play wise, but I think that they beat the Bills, and I think that their defense is good enough. But I do think E.J. Manuel puts a lot of points up, a lot of yards.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a lot of scoring, but I think there probably will be a good bit of yardage. I have the Panthers 14-9. So.
We both take the road team there. First time either of us took the road team, and we're even. We're picking the same teams the whole way through.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, we usually disagree on like 90% of things. Minnesota going to Chicago. Who you got?
I'm going with Chicago. I don't see the Vikings being able to beat them. All around, they've got a better squad. Other than Adrian Peterson could possibly be the factor of why the Vikings could win. But I don't think the Vikings will be able to stop Cutler, Marshall, and Forte.
I'm picking Chicago, but I do think that if Kyle Rudolph gets more involved, like I said, that the Vikings are going to open up a lot of different things and just really get themselves in there. I still go with Marshall and Cutler because I just think I think their offense is that much better than the Vikings' defense. But who knows? I mean, the Vikings, they won games like this last year. That's why they ended up making the playoffs. Well, we'll see. Detroit going to Arizona.
I got the Lions beating the Cardinals. I don't think that's a shocker to anybody. I mean, I don't think the Cardinals will be able to really stop Megatron.
No, I agree with you. I'm going with the Lions over the Cardinals, but this is just like last game. This is a game that Detroit used to lose when years past. Let's see here this year. This could be one of this sets the tone for if things have changed in Detroit or not.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, all right. Jacksonville going across the country to play Oakland. Terrell Pryor licking his chops.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, the Jaguars came out and scored a whopping 2 points in week 1. So I'm going to go with the Raiders in this one. I think Terrell Pryor's going to run all over him.
That's my lock. I got Oakland beating Jacksonville. That's in my suicide pool. I'm taking Oakland this week because this is just, there's no way. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but the coast-to-coast thing, I'm a big believer in. Jacksonville didn't put up any offensive points. I'm going to say they do it again because Oakland played a great Indy team. That's a confidence-building win, especially going to play Jacksonville.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
You're talking the Sunday night game. We're going Manning versus Manning. Denver going over to New York, New Jersey. Who you got, Eli or Peyton?
I'm taking Peyton. After you throw 7 touchdown passes in one game, you can't lose to your little brother.
Do the Giants have a defense? Are they taking the Eagles' philosophy this year, just try to outscore everybody?
I hope not, because they're not going to outscore everybody. They virtually have no running game right now, and they just worked out.
They just signed Brandon Jacobs. They re-signed Brandon Jacobs today.
They re-signed. I know that they worked him out and they worked someone else out too, but I was reading.
They re-signed him. No Sean Marino was the other guy. I would have went with No Sean, but Brandon Jacobs knows the playbook. But that's who it was. That's my fault, not No Sean. What am I talking about? But yes, you're right. Willis McGahee. I go with Brandon Jacobs because we're middle of the season. He can't learn the playbook. Willis McGahee ain't going to learn your playbook that fast, but you'd rather Willis McGahee if you had the option, but you got to go with Brandon Jacobs, I presume. That's the only reason they did it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be quick enough. I still think Denver wins. I don't know. I mean, this is one of those years where the Giants could come out and go 9-7 and win the Super Bowl, right? I mean, isn't this what happens?
Yeah, usually that is what happens.
My game of the week. We got San Francisco going to Seattle. I think they split home and home. I got Seattle. These are my 2 favorite teams in the league. I think this is number 1 going up against number 2. Best offense in years going up against the best defense in years. And then you got a good Seattle offense and a good Niners defense. I think the only difference between these 2 teams is coaching. I think Harbaugh's better, but I got Seattle winning.
Well, we finally disagree because I'm going with the Niners still. I mean, the 12-man, I know the Seattle being at home does definitely make an impact.
You can't score it. You can't score against Seattle.
The Niners, their offense is just too complete. You can't stop it. They have too many weapons everywhere.
Was so good.
And their defense is one of the top-tier defenses in the league. Like, it's just that they are the overall good team. If anyone's going to do this, if anyone's going to beat Seattle at home, they're definitely one of the teams that can do it. So I'm going with the 49ers.
All right, the Monday night game. When I was just talking about the Giants, this is one of those years. This is one of those one out of every few very bad years for the Steelers. They're going to go up against Cincy in Cincinnati. Do we have a contest? Does Pittsburgh come out of nowhere? Does the quarterback and offensive coordinator get along? Do they do it? Do they pull the upset off?
I have the Steelers losing. With the loss of their starting center, there's no way. They
lost 3 players for the season. They lost 3 players for the season in week 1 in a loss to the Titans. You scored 1 offensive touchdown and gave up a safety. Or you got a safety.
Yeah. So, I mean, I saw some moments from the Steelers, but I don't expect a lot from them just because, especially with all these injuries that they're having real early, it's just you're going to lose too much. It's going to be like the Eagles last year. They had so many injuries, it was ridiculous.
Storylines for week 1 or for week 2, go.
Storylines for week 2. I'm talking about Andy Reid versus the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a pretty big upset. He's going to come out of nowhere. Andy Reid knows the Cowboys better than anybody. He's beat them up for the past, 17 years in Philadelphia, aside from like 1 year where he didn't actually beat them once. And then my second one is the Redskins offense. I think they can come out this week and be a whole lot faster. A lot sharper. I think they're going to play a lot better from the start of the game this week.
Does RG3 run? Does RG3 run?
I think he's still tentative about it. I think he will run if he has to, just like he did against the Eagles in week 1. But I don't expect him to be running around like a maniac. But I do expect a lot better play from him, maybe stepping through his throws a little more, putting a little more power behind him. So I like the Redskins offense in week 2. And then my final key for week 2 is Adrian Peterson. He's definitely the turning point for his game this week. If anyone can cause the Vikings to win, it's definitely him. So I think he's going to have a monster game. I think he can probably get
These were the games last year that AP stepped up and carried them to the playoffs. My three big points. My biggest point of the weekend is Kaepernick going to Seattle. I'm so excited. This is like I said, my 2 best teams in the league. I'm excited to see this. I'm excited to see the Niners offense versus the Seattle defense. This is gonna be fun. This is a great Sunday night game. My next one is the Eagles offense. Where do you go from here? I mean, you ran until about mid-third quarter, and they said Mike Vick was mad that you shut it off. You'd had 33 points. You ran a lot of plays, maybe from turnovers and a bad defensive touchdown that you gave up. But I mean, overall, I think they play really well against the Chargers. It's just one of those, everyone's going to be tuned in to see what they do. I think it's a big deal. And then my last one are the good teams playing bad. Do they carry it over? Does Indianapolis get better? Does Atlanta get, I know they didn't lose to a bad team, but do they get better? Do the Patriots get better? Down the line, does Green Bay get their win? Does Houston come out the gate better? You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what's going on here. I think there's the Cincinnati get their first win, again, not against a bad team, but I think those are my big storylines of the weekend.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. I like them. I'm excited for week 2. I'm excited for more Fud's Huddle coming up here in the future for this football season. Hopefully we can keep this up and get it every week going here for you. Check us out.
Don't be a fool. Watch the A&M Alabama game. I'm telling you, it's going to be the game of the weekend. I know all you NFL enthusiasts out there, but this is literally Nick Saban is old school. This is what the NFL is about versus the new school Chip Kelly style offense. Nick Saban's the last standing great coach like that in college football. Could this be the direction of the NFL? No, but either way, just watch the game. It's going to be a great game. Manziel throwing the money up. We'll see what happens.
Exciting stuff.
Follow our Twitters, Jared D. on Twitter, Joe Fizzik on Twitter. Follow Hood's Huddle. Go like it on Facebook. Do your thing, Instagram. We will definitely catch you next week.